Seeing Cara requested his WWE release this week. This is becoming a trend now. Going on social media and announcing that you've asked for your release and then looking stupid when you don't get it. Although in this case, he still might. I guess a decision has not yet been made on whether or not he will be granted his release. Thus far, the answer has been no. I hardly think that they would be worried about him going to an AEW. The Sin Cara character is owned by WWE. It's been years since we've seen Hunico without the mask on. So if he leaves, I don't think that most people would even remember what he looks like, or they would even know that it was Sin Cara. Unless you're the hardest of hardcore fans. But he chose a very odd time to post this long message requesting his release. He did so while overseas, in the middle of a European tour. I would have laughed if WWE immediately released him and then just left him there stranded and said, "Yeah, good, find your own way home." Like they kick him off the bus. They on the movies, they throw his bag off the bus speeds off. He's just left stranded in the middle of Milan or wherever the fuck they are this week. Or I think they're in the UK somewhere. This is part of the statement that he posted, which it was translated from Spanish. "I am so grateful for the opportunity that WWE has given me. However, I realize that I am trapped in a place where I am not valued as an athlete or a talent. I have been loyal, respectful, a team player, and a supporter, and I have waited patiently for the opportunity to show the world what I can do. Unfortunately, after all of these years, that opportunity never arrived, and I feel like it will never arrive as long as I am here. The best years of my professional wrestling career are coming, and I believe that the best is yet to come. I am a healthy man, disciplined, respectful of my profession and its environment, of my colleagues, except Simon Gotch, who he threw a soda at that one time, but we'll put that on the side. And I think he actually gave Chris Jericho a black eye once. So we'll say he's respectful of most of his colleagues. And especially to my fans who have never failed me. This is not the end. On the contrary, it is the beginning of the next chapter, and I am excited for everything the future holds. I want to thank WWE for this incredible chapter." He's right about one thing. That opportunity that he's looking for, it's never coming. He has been with this company now for over a decade or almost a decade? Somewhere around 10 years. He has been in this company. 9 or 10 years. Most of that decade has been spent playing what is a dead character. It is a dead-end character on the fast track to nowhere. It's an easy paycheck for him. That's about all it is. He could re-sign for 5 years like some of these other people are doing, lock him into a deal, make a little bit more money, and waste away what he feels are some of the best prime years of his career. If he has ambitions, though, of doing more, it's going to have to come outside of WWE and not under that mask. Now, he's said to have 3 years supposedly left on his deal, which makes sense because PW Insider had a report 2 years ago in October of 2017 that said he signed a new multi-year deal with WWE, but they never said for how many years. So let's assume it was a 5-year deal. They love signing people to 5-year deals. Let's say it was a 5-year deal. He's now 2 years in. That would mean he's got 3 years left. The timing matches up. There was another report earlier this year that claimed that he signed a new deal, but he went on Twitter and he debunked it. He said it's just not true. If you remember, Mystico, who was the hottest thing in Mexico for a while there, this is going back even more than a decade. Mystico came into WWE years ago. The original Mystico. Or at least the one that got hot in the mid-2000s. He came in as the original Sin Cara. He was credited as being a Triple H signing. They had Triple H at the press conference. This was going to boost Triple H's, his pedigree, no pun intended, as an executive in the company. They credited him with the Awesome Kong signing as well as, what was the character that she played? Karma. Unfortunately, these two signings didn't work out very well for Triple H. He's redeemed himself with NXT in recent years. But these two signings ended up being a bust, and it wasn't even necessarily his fault. These were two talented people who were hot in the wrestling business at one time, and these were big pickups at the time for the company. They just didn't work out. Karma didn't last but all but a few months. I don't know that she ever had an official match outside of being in that one Royal Rumble. And Mystico was an epic fail. He was a colossal failure in WWE. But this was the guy that was going to be the second coming of Rey Mysterio. And his run was a colossal failure for a variety of different reasons. So to salvage the gimmick, they gave it to Hunico. Hunico was already under contract. They put Hunico under a mask. He also played the second Sin Cara Negro, right? Sin Cara Black, when the two of them were feuding for a time. We had the two Sin Caras that were feuding. And he's basically just been floating around ever since. And this was going back to like 2011. He has been floating. He's like a floating body, like a ghost. He's an apparition ever since. He's never gotten any kind of serious push. He is a warm body on the roster for this company. But this is becoming a pattern now. The money may be good. I doubt that any other company could offer the kind of money at this time, although that may be changing very soon. And you might even say with AEW, they've got a billionaire backing them. If they wanted to match a big WWE offer, they could. But at the end of the day, at this moment, you're probably not going to be able to find more money anywhere but WWE. So the money may be good, but you reach a point where you just feel like you're wasting your best years away. And he obviously feels his best years are still ahead of him, which, at 42 years old, he's 42. I question that. But he says he feels great, and hey, age is but a number, I guess. I mean, look at Ricky Morton. He's out there doing Canadian destroyers and dives and tope suicidas at age 63. Age is but a number. But again, I look at not just Ricky Morton, I look at somebody like PCO. Look at PCO in Ring of Honor and what he's doing at 51. Wrestling basically a full-time schedule. He may well win their world title next month at Final Battle. And so when you think of it in those terms, and you listen to what Sin Cara is saying here, his best years are ahead of him, hey, you never know. You never know. Now, per PWInsider.com, he was not the only person in WWE to request their release. Oney Lorcan has also asked for his release from WWE, although this apparently goes back about a month or so. We're only first hearing about this now. And it's not been confirmed by WWE or Lorcan himself. But he did change his name on all of his social media accounts back to his old ring name of Biff Busick. If you go on his Twitter, it says Biff Busick. You go on his Instagram, it says Biff Busick. He hasn't been seen on TV in about a month or so. He's been with the company for 4 years now. More recently, he was teamed up with Danny Burch in NXT. I always thought, I always saw Oney Lorcan as sort of that veteran guy that Triple H would lean on, especially in NXT. Although he could have been that guy on the main roster as well. But that veteran guy, almost like a Bob Holly back in the day. Hard-nosed guy, tough as nails when he's in there with people. Oney is a very good wrestler. He's a great wrestler. But I always looked at him as that guy. Let's lean on him. Let's break this guy in. Let's see what this new kid's made of. We'll put him in there with Oney. Like if he came along 20 years ago, he would have been that guy. He would have been a Steve Blackman or a Bob Holly type guy in WWE. And I always envision him eventually transitioning into a role as a coach for WWE, maybe at the Performance Center. He just seemed like that kind of guy who would be good in a role like that. And they've used him almost in a utility spot where you can plug him in on 205 Live. You could plug him in on NXT, wherever he's needed. And he can have good matches with almost anybody. Now, we don't know his reasons, but he's hardly the only one to ask for his release, and so we can speculate that his reasons are probably very similar to everyone else's, and that he probably looks at this as a dead-end job, and he wants to branch out, and he wants to wrestle more, and he wants to expand his horizons, and he maybe just felt that in WWE, he was spinning his wheels and wasn't really going anywhere. WWE, they've not yet granted his release. And again, if they do for him and not for everybody else, then how do they justify something like that? We see no value in you, so we'll let you go because we don't, who cares if you go to AEW? What value do you have? But we're going to keep Mike Kanellis. We're not going to let him go. Sin Cara, we're not going to let you go. We see more value in you than we do in Oney Lorcan. They need to be consistent, I think, with whatever their policy is. But they're racking up quite the body count of people who want out. It almost feels like a prison break. They're trying to escape Alcatraz. And then there's Jordan Myles, who is not even the angriest guy named Myles in the news this week. Myles Garrett made sure of that. He went on social media on a tirade a few weeks ago about WWE releasing that racist t-shirt for him, calling them a racist company. So he took this far beyond a single t-shirt. He called the entire company racist from head to toe, from top to bottom. He posted a profanity-laced video this week announcing that he has quit the company. As of today, I would like to officially announce that I quit fucking WWE. That makes it sound like they were having sex and he's done having sex with them now. I would like to officially announce that I quit fucking WWE. I am no longer employed. I refuse to work for racists. I fucking quit. Fuck them. I hate that fucking company and everything they fucking stand for. All they ever did was hold our fucking people back. I do this shit for the culture. I don't need anyone's fucking permission to do what I want to do. Screw Jordan Myles. Don't ever call me by that slave name. Call me ACH. And don't forget the super bitch. I quit. Fuck you. Tell us how you really feel. He later posted a second video that he has since deleted. Not only did he delete the video, he deleted his entire Twitter account. But now I see that it's back under a new handle. ACH is super. This is what he said. He goes, I want people to understand where I'm coming from with my anger. I am unhappy about the t-shirt that was made to show an image of me that was clearly disrespectful, not only to African Americans, but also to anybody who decided to purchase that t-shirt and show some kind of pride or appreciation for Jordan Myles. You have to understand that's how they view me. That is racism. That is wrong. That is not right. My first video was pure emotion, and there was a lot of rage behind it because I was clearly upset. Now that I've had time to think about this and I've had time to gather my thoughts, I want everybody to know that I will no longer be employed by WWE because I refuse to approach people that have offended me. My entire career has been me approaching people that have disrespected me and have shown me absolutely no love or the same respect that I have shown them. I am tired of the way that this wrestling culture is today. They don't treat the younger guys with respect. All the old guard walking around here thinking that we owe them something because they've taken a couple of more bumps than us, that's bullshit. I'm tired of it. This is for the culture, not just for African Americans, but for everybody that has ever felt like they could not do anything in their life. This is much bigger than pro wrestling. This is way much bigger than WWE or the McMahons. This is bigger than life. This is a stand, and me and the people will take it to the world, and we will take it to their throats first. He also took a page from Cody Rhodes and tweeted a photo of a wish list with 5 names written on it. At least I hope that's a wish list. Naming Jonathan Gresham, Darius Lockhart, AJ Gray, Myron Reed, and Desmond Xavier. I just saw Desmond last night, actually. He was in that Suicidal Six-Way at the HOG show. Very impressive. So, Jordan Myles, from winning the breakout tournament in August to this. From breakout to breakdown. That sums up this Jordan Myles story in a nutshell. And he may have his reasons for breaking down publicly. We don't yet have all the details. We know about the t-shirt stuff. You heard his statement there. He mentions the t-shirt. He mentions the t-shirt again. And he claims it's all about the t-shirt. Given the level of anger here, I don't buy that it's just the t-shirt. I think the t-shirt was the tipping point for him. But I don't believe that the t-shirt is the root cause of what's going on here. There may have been something else that happened at the performance center. Maybe there was something that was said to him that he found deeply offensive. Because, again, he's talking about the company as a whole, not just the t-shirt. So this goes far deeper than any one single t-shirt. You know, the Observer had a report that said that he's been missing from the PC, and he's been out since late September on some kind of medical leave, but that it's not injury related. There's something else going on here. I still think him insulting Jay Lethal the way that he did and then refusing to apologize for it is bullshit. Lethal did not deserve that. Even if he has some kind of legitimate gripe or beef, if Jay Lethal played politics with him in Ring of Honor, if he feels in his mind that he's got some excuse to hold this anger and this resentment of Jay Lethal, to go out in this public tirade and use the language that he used and say the things that he said and drag Jay Lethal into it, who had absolutely nothing to do with any of this, is bullshit. I don't care what his explanation is. It's bullshit. Nor has anybody forgotten about that, nor should anybody forget about that. I have no issue with him calling WWE out on all the other stuff if that's how he feels, or if he can prove and back up that someone said something to him, if something horrendous happened. By all means, go ahead and call them out. And if he's that unhappy, then he should be able to leave and go somewhere else. But here's the problem, and this piggybacks off what I just got done talking about with Oni Lorcan and Sin Cara. Here is the problem from the WWE point of view. They have now set a precedent by not letting guys go when they want out of their contracts early. They let Dustin Rhodes go because he played it close to the vest. I think he played dumb. He didn't tell them that he was going to go to AEW. They let him go. They let Shawn Spears go. Also, probably didn't think he was going to go to AEW. Both guys leave. Where do they end up? They go to AEW. And so ever since, they have not let anybody out of their contract who has requested a release. And I don't really see that changing anytime soon either. It might. If they see someone is of no value to them, maybe they'll just say, fuck it, we'll let the guy go. But they have not let anybody go since those two guys earlier this year. Shawn Spears was the last one. He was the last one to escape. Okay? It's like jury duty. But because again, the problem that they have now is they've set this precedent. And so it's like jury duty. For years, if you didn't want to get picked for a jury, people would say, just go say something incredibly racist. Go say something incredibly offensive to an entire group of people when they interview you. Tell the court that you can't be impartial because you hate this person, you hate that person. I could never bring myself to do that. But guess what? It doesn't work anyway. Not anymore. When I got picked to be on that grand jury a couple of years back, I can't tell you how many people pitched all kinds of excuses to the judge about why they couldn't be picked. They brought us all into this giant courtroom like you would see on Law and Order. And we're all sitting in the jury, in the witness box. And there's the judge and there's the attorney, and they have a microphone they put in your hand as they go down the line and they interview you. And I cannot tell you how many people pitched all kinds of excuses about why they couldn't be picked. They've got a sick parent at home they have to take care of. Or which I fit into that category back then, although I didn't use that as an excuse. But they've got a sick parent at home, or they're a single parent working 2 jobs with 3 kids. They've gotten hip to all of these excuses. So the judge would tell them, okay, I'll let you leave. You want to leave here, I'll let you leave. But you're going right back downstairs to the jury pool. You're going to be sitting around all day waiting to be called. And if you get picked for a regular jury, it could be a lot worse, because then you'd have to report every day until the trial is over. At least with a grand jury, like in my case, I only had to go once a week, every Friday. Now, that turned out to be for an entire year. I was a designated juror for 12 months, although towards the end I wasn't going every week. I was on call in case they needed us. So I didn't expect it to go that. They liked us so much because they have the right. They can keep you up to 18 months. And I guess we did such a good job, they said, you know what, we're going to re-enlist you for another 6 months above and beyond the first 6 months. That was quite the ordeal. But aside from that, it really wasn't so bad. I was fucked from the start. Young, single guy with no kids. I never stood a chance. There was no way I wasn't going to get picked. The point is, why am I telling this story? If they release him, if they let him go, what is to stop Luke Harper or Sin Cara or Oni Lorcan from posting a cuss-filled rant on social media accusing WWE of being racist, accusing WWE of being sexist, accusing WWE of some kind of discriminatory behavior, discriminating against men with beards? They see Jordan Myles get his release. Well, then why not go scorched earth like he did? Just to get out of their contract. Now, maybe they will let Myles go. Maybe they don't want the publicity and they'll come to some kind of a mutual understanding and say, look, this guy's a giant headache. We don't want to have anything to do with him anymore. The bridge has been burned. Let's just part ways. Maybe they'll just cut their losses. As of this recording, he has not been granted his release. He said as much in a Q&A that he did on Twitter yesterday. I am unemployed as of today. No, you're not. No, you're not. He can say whatever he wants to about I quit, I'm unemployed, I'm no longer employed by WWE. In your mind, it's a fantasy land he lives in. He is still under contract to WWE. Does not mean he is free and clear to go wherever he wants. And I got news for you. No company is going to touch this guy if they think that they might get sued by WWE for tampering with somebody who is still under contract. He just signed his contract this year, I think back in February. So he could have a substantial amount of time left, which could make for a very messy divorce.